So just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, guys, Amazon just announced that in their 30-year history of the company, guys, they're having their largest layoff. Over 30,000 people is fixing to lose their jobs. Now let that sink in.
You know, the way these companies are announcing mass layoffs and still fighting over the working class, you'd think they were bulletproof and fireproof. Like, you know your buildings aren't fireproof, right?
Amazon laid off 30,000 people today. The narrative is that this is about AI replacing jobs. The reality is very different. So when people think AI layoffs, they think the robots are doing the jobs now, and therefore we are having layoffs. No.
Today, I was laid off at Amazon. I am one of the 14,000 employees impacted. I was a senior social media manager in Amazon ads, and earlier this month, I actually celebrated my 1-year anniversary, or Immiversary as they like to call it. And it was the closest I've ever come to a dream.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Beauty. I hope you all are good. So Amazon just announced a massive layoff, 30,000 people losing their jobs, and that is 30,000 families struggling to survive. And this is not just about one company. It is about a system that keeps doing this over again to people, to the masses, and people are paying the price for it. Imagine being told that you are no more needed, that AI can do the job. Anyway, guys, let's watch some reactions and we will come back for more talk. Stay with us. Comment your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel to support the channel, and we will be back.
Out of the American economy tonight, Amazon cutting 14,000 employees, pointing to artificial intelligence. And UPS says it will now lay off 48,000 workers. Here's Elizabeth Schulze.
Tonight, massive layoffs at the world's largest online retailer. Amazon slashing 14,000 corporate jobs, signaling more cuts to come, as artificial intelligence dramatically reshapes the American workforce. In a note to employees, the retail giant writing, "The world is changing quickly. This generation of AI is the most transformative technology we've seen since the internet. We're convinced that we need to be organized more leanly." And just ahead of the busy holiday shopping season, UPS announcing 48,000 job cuts today too. Meta, Microsoft, Google, and Intel also announcing cuts earlier this year, pointing to AI's potential to perform tasks instead of humans.
Right now, the skills that AI does have, many of them are impacting white-collar workers more than blue-collar workers.
Today, I asked the CEO of NVIDIA, the world's most valuable company that makes computer chips powering AI, if this is just the beginning.
Should American workers be bracing for more job cuts from AI, and what can they do to prepare for the future?
AI is going to change every job, but you're not going to lose your job to an AI. You're going to lose your job to somebody who uses AI. And so I would advise everyone to engage AI.
David, with those layoffs tonight at major American employers like UPS and Amazon, economists say that AI is helping companies cut their costs because the technology allows them to do more work with fewer people. David.
Potentially sweeping changes ahead. Elizabeth, thank you.
Amazon laid off 30,000 people today. The narrative is that this is about AI replacing jobs. The reality is very different, and I want to be really precise about it because it gets at corporate structure and finance and not really at AI in the way you think. So when people think AI layoffs, they think the robots are doing the jobs now, and therefore we are having layoffs. No. The people who are doing the jobs are more stressed if they're still at Amazon, but the AI automation story isn't actually hitting those jobs. What is hitting those jobs and is related to AI is the cost of chips. So NVIDIA sells chips to everyone, GPUs. Those chips are how we power AI, and none of the major cloud providers can get enough chips right now. Microsoft can't, Google can't. Google's in an easier spot, they have TPUs, and Amazon definitely can't. In fact, people don't know this, but AWS has a roughly 25% burning backlog on GPUs. In other words, they are missing out on revenue because companies are begging for more compute from AWS that they can't fulfill because they can't buy GPUs because they only had so much budgeted to buy GPUs. And so yes, the layoffs are related to AI, but in this case, it is burning corporate demand for GPU chips that is hitting the capital expenditure budget of Amazon so hard that they need to find other ways to reduce fixed costs so they can meet the expectations of Wall Street around the overall margins of the business. And you might be like, well, why does that matter? They're all like billion-dollar companies. In Amazon's case, their margins have always been notoriously thin everywhere except AWS. Retail is like a ridiculously thin business. But the AWS margins have been really good. And so the street, for better or worse, expects them to continue growing the high margin business at a good clip. The street was not happy with their 18% year over year growth rate this quarter. And the street is looking for them to pick that growth rate back up, which they cannot do if they cannot buy more chips. And they cannot buy more chips without destroying their margin unless they can cut costs other places. And chips are so expensive that the only way they can cut costs is by going after jobs or fixed costs or salaries. And that is what is happening. And so really, when you read this, instead of reading this as a guidebook to where AI is automating, read it as a guidebook to the things that Amazon finds least painful to cut when they have to trade talent for GPUs in order to maintain their margins. So these were very hard discussions, and the places they cut are places that I think they are strategically not as invested in. And that is the way I read it. None of this does anything to make people who got fired today feel better. And so I don't want to pretend it does. If you got let go from Amazon, that really sucks. And this doesn't fix it. And I hope you find a role soon. There is absolutely life after Amazon. I found life after Amazon. It does happen. There's a huge network of Amazon alumni out there, including me. And yeah, we look out for each other as best we can. But the narrative is something I do care about getting right, because I am tired of lazy narratives around AI, and I wanted to be very precise here. So that's what's really going on. And yeah, when you hear the easy AI automation story, kick the rocks a little bit and see what crawls out.
Hello, if I want to borrow 300,000 naira and repay it after 2 months, how much interest should I pay?
Hi everybody, your elite recruiter is back and I'm spilling the tea. Here's my lightning round of layoffs and more. Because corporate America is rewriting the rules in real time and white collar workers are the test case. So full credit to the Kobisi letter on X. They just aggregated this list and it's brutal. UPS, 48,000 jobs gone. Amazon, up to 30,000. Intel, 24,000. Nestle, 16,000. Accenture and Ford, 11,000 each. Novo Nordisk, 9,000. Microsoft, 7,000. PwC, 5,600. Salesforce, 4,000. And yes, even Meta, Target, and Paramount are cutting deep. If you feel the ground shifting under corporate America, you are not imagining it. And the Wall Street Journal just backed it up with data that hits hard. And the title says it all. Tens of thousands of white-collar jobs are disappearing as AI starts to bite. This article covered how Amazon plans to eliminate up to 10% of its white-collar workforce. UPS already cut 14,000 management roles. Target, 1,800 corporate jobs. Tens of thousands of professionals are flooding a stagnant job market. And nearly 2 million Americans have been jobless for over 6 months. And behind it all, AI, investor pressure, and efficiency mandates. Executives are chasing productivity while cutting people. One CEO even bragged, "Our AI writes its own Python." This isn't just about AI, it's financial physics, like I mentioned in my previous video. Companies are trading payroll for GPUs, shareholder value over human capital, and loyalty, it doesn't make the spreadsheet. And here's your reality check. The jobs once seen as safe, HR, finance, marketing, engineering, are now most exposed. Meanwhile, frontline industries like construction, trades, and healthcare and hospitality are booming. So here's how you rebuild your power, and more importantly, here's how you adapt. Number 1, sit closer to the revenue. Number 2, get AI literate. Number 3, specialize and show receipts. Number 4, build a portfolio career. One employer is 1 point of failure. And number 5, remember, performance without visibility is invisible. The career ladder is gone. It's a chessboard now. Job security is an illusion. Career freedom is a strategy. I'm Deepali Vyas, your elite recruiter, doing the research for you so you don't have to. And don't forget to like and follow for more of my job market updates. Comment Zoom if you want to join my next live webinar where I'm breaking down the real truth about the job market and how to protect your career and the strategies that actually work. Stay elite, everyone.
You might have woken up to the news this morning that Amazon is set to lay off up to 30,000 of their corporate employees, and just for context, that is 10% of their corporate workforce. Now, I am not going to fearmonger and say that this is directly Donald Trump's fault, because I am well aware of what's happening in our economy. I am well aware of how corporations work. I am going to say that Donald Trump is actively investing in this to happen. Just after his inauguration, Donald Trump announced a $500 billion investment into AI. Much of this money was going to be taken from him pausing and canceling the clean energy investment under the Biden administration, but this was kind of speaking a very, very large picture of what his intent was for our economy and for domestic manufacturing. Now, of course, this does not mean that the $500 billion investment was directly going to Amazon, but it just speaks a bigger picture of where he is trying to pull our country into. Back in June, Amazon actually came out and said it was likely they were going to be exploring mass layoffs soon because they needed to see if they could utilize AI to improve operational efficiencies. If a company can improve operational efficiencies, aka use less humans, that impacts their bottom dollar better. If their bottom dollar is better, shareholders make more money, everybody gets rich. And again, I am not blaming this administration for it. I am saying that this administration is thrusting us towards this because Donald Trump is obsessed with China. If you really, really look at the connecting dots between almost every trade agreement, between almost every tariff on, tariff off situation, it all leads back to China. Donald Trump and Stephen Moran, the chairman of Trump's Economic Advisory Board, are hell-bent on being able to replace China with US domestic manufacturing. The problem is, though, China actually utilizes AI and robotics in a majority of their manufacturing. We use people. Even the Hyundai factory that was being built in Georgia that we all know is paused and Brian Kemp is currently in South Korea trying to beg them to go back, was going to be using robotics and AI eventually. A lot of people talk about, no, it was going to create thousands and thousands of jobs. It was only going to create thousands of jobs to actually build the factory. Once they get it up and running, it's going to be robots doing the work. You can see this with the LG factory in Tennessee that is literally winning awards right now because of their automations and robotics manufacturing. Obviously, we can blame corporations and we can get mad at them for replacing humans with robots, but the bigger picture is that this is all part of a larger, broader plan to actually invest way more in AI so that we can compete with China, and it's gonna lead to less humans in the workforce and more robots.
So yesterday I was talking about how Target was laying off 1,800 people. No, says Amazon, we got that beat. We're laying off 14,000 people. 14,000 people. 14,000 people. That's insane. Do you think Amazon is going to feel that? I think they will.
You know, the way these companies are announcing mass layoffs and still f***ing over the working class, you'd think they were bulletproof and fireproof. Like, you know your buildings aren't fireproof, right? Like, yes, let's just cut all the jobs in America, make sure nobody can get a job anymore. The cost of living keeps going up. My brother in Christ, do you know that your body is penetrable by lead? Amazon just cut, they're about to announce 30,000 jobs being cut, laid off. Mind you, this is like one of like a million economic metrics that signal like another Great Depression. These people are so bold. But you know what? You know why they're so bold? Because they know we're not doing it. They know we're not going to do it. But yeah.
UPS just cut 48,000 jobs and the stock jumped 7%. Third quarter earnings beat Wall Street expectations. The company saved $2.2 billion by firing truck drivers and warehouse workers. CEO called it the biggest strategic shift in company history. Here's what that means. If the company is more profitable after cutting 48,000 people, those workers weren't the problem. They could have kept every single one of those jobs and still made money. They just wanted more profit. You weren't dead weight. You were just in the way of someone's fucking bonus. Corporate efficiency is just code for we'd rather have fewer employees and bigger dividend. They proved 48,000 people weren't dragging them down. Wall Street even fucking celebrated because shareholder got richer while working people got fucked. Like and follow for more. The best way to support me is to use the link in my bio.
Corporations are announcing mass layoffs in droves. Amazon has announced that it will be like.
You should also know that CarMax just did the same thing and let go thousands of employees. But here's the best part. They gave them 10 days severance pay at their regular pay. So they don't have to work, but they'll still receive a paycheck for 10 days during a government shutdown where food stamps and unemployment and everything else is unavailable. CarMax, who just built a baseball stadium in Virginia, who just spent billions on shit, let go of thousands of employees with a 10-day severance paycheck. I wonder what Amazon and all those people are going to offer, and I wonder exactly where this is going to lead. Welcome to the revolution, baby. It's about to get real.
Amazon has too many employees. They've got so many that they're going to lay off 30,000 employees from corporate jobs starting Tuesday. That's nearly 10% of their workforce. And the layoffs are going to start tomorrow through email. Because, of course, nobody ever has enough backbone to tell you to your face. It's always through email. They did these little training sessions today to prep managers for communicating to employees when the mass layoffs start tomorrow. Now I want to connect some dots on something real quick. Companies will always cut you before they cut their profits. Period. And Amazon's goal? They want record profits by the end of the year. And how they gonna get them? By tossing you out the door, by paying pennies on the dollar, by making sure their shareholders keep smiling. That is the entire play. And see, here's the kicker. Rich people don't just want their slice of the pie. They want the whole bakery, and they're going to get it one layoff at a time.
Do you want to know why Amazon's laying off people? It's not AI. It's not automation. It's just pure capitalism. It's just pure balance sheet. As someone who studied industrial engineering, when I went to school, I realized the field that I got myself into, my job is essentially to eliminate jobs, to a point where I eliminate my own job. That's what automation does in many ways. But the problem or the opportunity is that automation like AI you see today, maybe in forms of ChatGPT or these large language models, it's like electricity. Electricity doesn't eliminate jobs. In fact, it creates more jobs than anything. But because the system we live in dictates us to develop electricity and AI tools to eliminate jobs, therefore we eliminate jobs. To put you in another perspective, you probably hear like, oh, lawyers they're just greedy, lying people. It's not true. If you speak to lawyers or people who got into law, they mostly tell you that they're there to protect people. They're there to have this governance and this fairness to the people. But if you're in law, like I know I have been, and my close friend is a very, very good merger and acquisition business lawyer. She makes a lot of money. We started our career together when she was just making $80,000. And I was super jealous because I was making $40,000 a year. And now she makes 7 figures, Her business model works because corporations ask her to protect the business as much as possible. In fact, her compensation is 1%. 1% of the business acquisition that they're going to make and also acquire. So that's why she gets that 7 figure. But it goes back to my point, right? Automations, just like electricity, we direct it to do what it does. We make AI automations today because it is an essential tool we need to understand and how to master, but we're using it the wrong way. If you ask me, what is the easiest thing to automate? It's executive levels. It's the executive and CEO jobs that AI, large language model, does really well. But nobody talks about it because that means their own jobs getting eliminated per se.
Okay, so my company announced layoff, and this morning they are sending emails to people who have been impacted and who have been impacted. And fortunately, I have not received that email, and I don't think I'm going to receive it today, which I'm very grateful for. But I just want to cry because I'm thinking about the 1,000 people who have been impacted, and this is especially right around like holiday times. And I think like how the company did it was very cruel and inhuman, because they sent us an email on like Thursday afternoonish, and they said the layoffs were happening on Tuesday. And so that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's like 6 days for people to completely lose their sleep, for people to panic. It would have been so nice if they would have just sent that email on Thursday and say, we're doing a mass layoff tomorrow. Be ready for that. And then, people would have Saturday to cry over it and then Sunday to start applying for a job. But for them to like drag it out for 6 days, it's so inhuman. And this is why I feel like corporations will never like the concept that, oh, we're family here, would never apply, because I don't even know how I feel, honestly. I'm just like really sad right now. And for the people who are impacted, I hope things work out, and I hope you find another opportunity really, really soon. Some people that I know who have been impacted have been people that I know are like really, really great people. And so it doesn't have anything to do with like merits or any of that. It feels really random at this point, but I'm just really freaking sad.
I'm curious to know, have you guys been affected by any type of layoffs? Have your family members or friends? Because for me personally, I mean, thank God not me, but it has affected my family. There is a person in my family who was laid off, but like I'm hearing Target workers, Amazon workers, UPS, hospital workers, thousands were let go from JPL, people from Paramount, people in the film industry. Like, how are we going to fucking survive in this fucking economy? Like, I'm a little anxious. I'm anxious, not a little anxious. I'm thinking I need to fucking get a second job, So just curious to know if you guys were also affected.
GM just shut down its innovation center. Hundreds of Georgia jobs gone. I took notes. Let's talk about it. General Motors just confirmed it's closing its Roswell-based innovation center, and more than 300 employees are losing their jobs by the end of the year. The center originally opened in 2013 as a part of a $26 million investment to bring over 1,000 high-tech jobs to Georgia, but it's now shutting its doors as GM redefines its site strategy. Translation, They're consolidating, moving technical teams into a few central hub locations for what they call better collaboration. About 325 jobs will be cut, while others may go remote or relocate to other facilities. GM says some workers with specialized skills could be transferred, but not everyone will get that offer. All affected employees are being offered severance, but still, this marks the end of a big tech era promise in Georgia that once symbolized innovation and job growth. Closures like these are becoming common. We're going to see more of them. Of course, this is due to automation and AI. I have more to say, but I signed an NDA on an AI project, so I've pretty much said all I could say on my page about this, but let me know what y'all think. Fair or foul, put it in the comments. Oh, and I forgot to tell y'all, UPS year-to-date has laid off 48,000 workers. Their goal for the year was 20,000. So I'm not sure how they're getting away with this extra 28,000, but that's what they're doing. Now, mind you, they just announced $1.3 billion in profits. Okay. All right. Well, anyway. Fair or foul, put it in the comments.
Today, I was laid off at Amazon. I am one of the 14,000 employees impacted. I was senior social media manager in Amazon ads, and earlier this month, I actually celebrated my 1-year anniversary, or Immiversary as they like to call it. And it was the closest I've ever come to a dream role. I was working social media marketing and tech, something I would have dreamed about and wished for in college. I was flown out to work my first Cannes Lion in the south of France, of all places. I interviewed celebrities on the red carpet, some that I had fangirled over since I was a little kid. But most importantly, I worked at a globally recognizable company that I knew made my immigrant parents proud. And even my grandma knew what Amazon was because of the packages we'd get on our doorstep. And fast forward to today, it also actually is exactly 1 week from my birthday. I guess my present from Amazon just came a little bit early. But that's all to say, I am feeling all the feels. I feel really grateful for sure that I got to live out a corporate dream for a year. But I guess that's the thing about dreams. They shift and transform, and I believe that my next dream is out there waiting for me. I don't know what it looks like or what it'll be, but stay tuned because we'll figure it out together.
So just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, guys, Amazon just announced that in their 30-year history of the company, guys, they're having their largest layoff. Over 30,000 people is fixing to lose their jobs. Now let that sink in. 30,000 people, men, women, with families, disabilities, whatever, people who wake up each and every day, who go to work to provide for their families, working 10, 12 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week. Now they have to look defeat, the pink slip in the face, knowing that during some of the most crucial times in American history, they're going to be without an income. Imagine knowing that you done gave a job 10 to 15, 30 years of your life, and now because of whatever it is, whether it's the government shutdown, the lack of funds, whatever it may be, you're not even going to be able to have the income to be able to provide for your family. See, if anybody knows anything about getting laid off, is this guy right here, being someone who got laid off 6 times before I eventually got fired after being a widow for 14 years. Guys, this is the reason why I've been telling people there's no better time than for you to be able to come online, start your own online business, and generate an income from home. This is what people don't understand. They don't have to have a job to make income. There's no type of stability about working a 9 to 5. This is the outcome. This is what the dead end is. You're going to get the pink slip. It's only a matter of time. It's 2025, guys. I have used this cell phone. I have followed a class 22 months ago that taught me how to build an online business promoting digital products. As a brand new newbie, didn't have to create nothing, yet I've been able to generate multiple 6 figures doing this, just working 2 hours from my home. Imagine if you didn't have to worry about the shutdown and you can learn how to use your phone, the power of social media, and build an online business, going through a class that could teach you how to, and equip you with the skills on how to do that, all just working 2 hours a day around your family.
We have some big news right now. Corporations are announcing mass layoffs in droves. Amazon
announcing mass layoffs while the government is shut down and your employees, your former employers, soon to be former employees, cannot receive SNAP benefits. That's cruel.
They will burn down your pension. They will take away your working. They will do everything that they can in order to maximize their profit. And yet, we still buy into them. Stop. Stop.
I deeply empathize with the workers that were laid off from Amazon this week, because what do you mean one of the biggest companies on this planet that's had record-breaking year-over-year profit growth is also doing layoffs? What are the reasons? I've seen some TikToks talking about, it could be them laying off these fixed costs, i.e. salaries of workers, and using that to buy chips or other things to build AI / they're being replaced by AI. All of that stuff I think is really important to think about because it shows that they will always be indebted to their shareholders, not to their employees. Because even if they have all this growth, even if they're making all this money and could just say, hey, within the next 4 years, we will set aside X amount of extra dollars off of whatever expenses, cutting, C-suite levels, travel expenses, things like that. Instead of doing that, they're laying off workers. And they're doing it because it's a bigger fixed cost. It's an easier fixed cost to track. And it doesn't take away the benefits that they give to some of their employees, which makes them stay there as they're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. Because tech does force you into those positions. They force you into working your off. So this comment resonates really dramatically for that group. Because what do you mean? They did everything right. The company looked fantastic on paper, and yet they're still getting laid off. So it's just really important to think about the fact that there's a lot of elements that build here, but that is a very telltale sign that we are approaching / are in, we probably have already been in it for a while, a recession, but even then it's getting worse as a result of AI. And we can say very clearly now that companies and corporate businesses do not care about people at all. Because what do you mean, instead of just saving dollars along however many years to pay for whatever the hell they're going to pay for, to maximize whatever profit that they need to see to support their shareholders, their rich shareholders who just keep getting more and more rich, is to lay off 10 to 30,000 workers. What is that? What is that? Just crazy to me. So I just feel for people that were laid off this week. If you were laid off this week, I mean, I've been through the experience. I got laid off 2 months ago, and it is quite literally the hardest thing to experience. And luckily, you all have tech on your resumes. Use that to your benefit. It's tough because now the market's going to be flooded with this like high impact talent too. So as a person who didn't work in tech, like that's going to have impact on me and other people I know who never worked in tech either. So I'm just bringing up these notes because I think it's important to talk about. But we got to be valuing people over business, you guys. This is ridiculous.
I'm one of the over 300,000 Black women who've been let go from the workforce. I am now a statistic. And it hurts. It hurts to know that after all the degrees, I have two, the experience, the dedication, the good work, none of it made me safe. I've been spending my life savings just to survive, paying bills late, stretching groceries, trying to maintain the life I had before this. But it's draining, it's humiliating, and most of all, it's lonely. People always talk about how the workforce treats you like you're replaceable, but to truly experience it, that's a whole different level of pain. To give so much of yourself, your time and energy, just to be tossed away like you're nothing, it eats at you. It eats at you until you start to question if you ever really mattered in the first place. In my mental health, it's been rough. Not having stability, not knowing what's next. It messes with your head. I wake up anxious. I go to bed overthinking. Some days I can't even focus, and other days I feel numb. It feels like I'm watching my life slowly fall apart in slow motion. You already know, this is not the economy you want to be jobless in. Prices are sky high, rent keeps climbing, grocery costs are double what they used to, and the jobs that are out there, half of them pay less than what it costs just to survive. It's like the system is designed to break you right. And for Black women, it's even worse. We're being laid off at higher rates than anyone else after being told for years that we had to work twice as hard just to be seen. It's like no matter what we build, we're always the first on the chopping block. And somehow we're still expected to smile, pray, and stay strong. But I'm tired. I'm angry. And I'm done pretending that I'm okay. So yeah, I'm one of them. One of the over 300,000 Black women that have been laid off. Tired, angry, trying to survive in a world that keeps moving like nothing happened. And this is what it is.
America just lost nearly 1 million jobs in 2025. Hey, CEOs still got their bonuses. Why does it feel like every other week somebody's job is getting tossed out like leftovers? By the end of September 2025, America already had nearly lost 1 million jobs. In October, over 170,000 layoffs announced across multiple sectors like tech, retail, hell, even government. Amazon just chopped 14,000 jobs. Carter's, you know those baby clothes people? They just cut 15% of their workforce. Meta just trimmed hundreds of people from its AI division. Oh, and UPS, they slashed 48,000 jobs. And 14,000 of them were in management. That's not just delivery drivers. That's people with whole salaries and health insurance just gone overnight. Oh, I know you wonder, why is this happening? I'm gonna tell you why. Companies want to be able to report record profits at the end of 2025. The easiest way to do that is not by creating new products or even being innovative. Y'all need to stop thinking like that. It's cutting your job so that the stock looks sexy to investors. That's capitalism, baby. Rich people will let you struggle with your rent before they will ever admit to shareholders that their profits are slipping. I want to know, like, how many of you are caught up in this mess right now? Because I know I am. How many of you or your family members or friends got hit by these cuts? And, you know, this happens while rich executives keep making money hand over fist. Because if you're tired of watching corporations get fatter while families get squeezed thinner, share this video. Drop your story in the comments. Let's talk about what's really happening in America right now. Because I know I'm tired of winning.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So this massive layoff are not just about market adjustments, they are warning signs. The system is built to protect profits and not people. Right now, people need stronger unions and a voice for workers at the table, not just the CEOs calling the shots all the time. No. Because if something like this keep happening, that means nobody's job is really safe. It means that people can be losing their job anytime, unannounced. Anyway, guys, these are my thoughts, these are my opinion. Comment your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel to support the channel. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.